Hi guys, welcome to earnings season, the show from everymickle.com. I am Randy Rowe at RT Rowe on Twitter,
And I'm Danat H. Danat on Twitter.
and this is
Earnings season, bro.
I call this episode the back again episode, back again like the brown girl, right? I'd actually play her clip right here, right now, but I don't know if there's a copyright on that, so I'm not gonna get myself in trouble. But you guys know which brown girl I'm talking about. Now you guys have not heard from us in a long time,
Quite a while. Yes.
right?
You see the memes and the newspaper article.
Exactly, yeah. As I'm about to say, let me big up Chris from UE for his what you call it, the MP the MP
MP.
not sending no gains news or whatever. He has a newspaper thing that he has done. It is mad witty. I big him up for that. It is pretty fun. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, check the show notes. The link will be there. It's just a nice little tweet that he's been doing to try and push us to get this thing out. So yeah, first in a long time. You guys haven't heard from us in about 2 months. You'd have heard an episode the week before last, for those of you who are keeping current. But if you listen to it, you'd have heard that it's the end of the long running, never to be repeated market review that we'd have done. So this is, I think, our first current-ish episode in a long. In fact, definitely our first current episode in a long time.
Yep.
Definitely the first since a quarter. So and what an exciting day.
Indeed.
Yeah. I don't even know where to start. I don't know if the day is going to always be exciting, so we can always touch that. But let me start off with whatever else we may have missed in the interim. Anything interesting happened? Tell me something you have in mind, and I will go one for one.
Happened, actually, let me bring up what
your notes. Indeed. I know. In the meantime, I know something I jumped to mind. Something small. John Jackson had a. So much has happened in between.
I forgot to send that to you, and that's something I usually talk to you about.
John Jackson's complaint.
Yes.
Big up John Jackson.
It's a complaint. I think quite a lot of us actually trade hold.
Yes. Yeah. He has an article on. I'm looking for it, but it's always a little hard to surf. IC Insider. Over 25 years of useless circuit breaker. Oh my God, the original troublemaker in the industry, Sir John Jackson. I rate him. I can't stop rating him. The man nobody hold him tongue.
Indeed. And you're not saying much that's wrong, because
right?
To be honest, I can't see where the circuit breaker has achieved what they say they wanted to achieve, even in the small price. Because they say, them halt the market for 1 hour and then release information that would lead to that stock that would be, around that stock being halted.
Yes. I've yet to see to allow investors time to cool down and absorb any information.
I've yet to see a release from the JSE saying, "Hey, this is why it halted." Usually when it's halted, we kind of already know why it halted. The news come up before, and then something happens in the market where boy, I'm buy it up or sell it down based on that news, and then it halts. I've yet to see the JSE release something to say, boy, say this stock halt because profits were up, even though we never tell you. Like, you told us, we know now, and we do whatever. And 1 hour, 4. The trading day is short enough already. 1 hour.
Yeah. All right. So let me just do some context, especially because I'm sure we have some new listeners.
Yes.
So for people who don't know, the circuit breaker is, you might have to do a little bit of work. And of course, the article mentioned in check your show notes. The link to it is in the show notes. I'm not going to be reading it all out. However, the circuit breaker, pretty much, if you go over 15%, it flies for 1 hour. If you go over 30%, it flies for 1 hour and it reverses whatever that trade was. Which I think is a very generalized version of it. Then I know the depth of the details, but that's pretty much it.
Indeed.
Unless I have that wrong, do I, Dana?
No, you're good.
Yeah. So John Jackson has an article where I'm just calling it out for the stupidity that it is. Not that a circuit breaker in itself is so let me play devil's advocate, right? So the circuit breaker stops it, and as Dana just said, it's supposed to allow us to absorb information. No, I'm going to say that just because something hasn't happened don't mean say it shouldn't. It don't make sense, right? It's like, your seatbelt. You're never in an accident, or the kind of accident in you never ever actually need a seatbelt, but it don't mean you shouldn't have a seatbelt. But then realistically, we don't have the kind of market where information is going to be released to change anything. The truth is, the only reason that stock trips a circuit breaker is because somebody either buy it over the 15 or the 30% or sell it below the 15 or 30%, right? And it's a time for it to, that's one point. The second point is like time for, the market to absorb news, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking advanced market, let's say, what's a realistic example? SSLVC. Some terrible news comes out in the middle of the day, like, turns out there's heavy trouble there and there might be nothing happening, blah, blah, blah. It's a big deal. And everybody heard it while the market is going on. So if you own SSLVC shares, you start selling immediately. I just want to get rid of them, right? And I think the idea of the pause is that it forces you to just kind of calm down. And as much as you want to,
you don't rush anymore. There's no boy the market going run with me. You can actually say, okay, cool out and see what I actually want to do right now, based on, and I can actually go check information, see the impact to me, and make a decision, a level-headed decision. Not boy, I'm gonna lose all my body and have to run on the market now.
Exactly. No, the reality of the thing is, right, it's twofold. It's a slightly complex issue. One, we only have 3.5 trading hours every day? Yeah, from 9, the market pre-open 9 o'clock, start 9:30 and it run to 1 o'clock. In 3.5 hours, if you have a 1 hour pause for any reason, that is
done.
Literally, right? It doesn't spell sense. It's almost 30% of the day gone, depending on when it freezes. So how does it make sense to do this? Secondly, what information is going to be released? Like, if the information is released and we have time to think about it, you have now frozen the market to a point where, of course, as we come back, we're going to try and sell. Now, it can't go below the 30% of the, assuming we're talking about a below here, it can't go below the 30% of a circuit breaker reference price in the day. But tomorrow morning, you think I don't just as much want, more people want to sell it. Tomorrow morning is the real bloodbath. So what you're really doing is you're setting up a hell of a bloodbath the next day. In a bad situation. In a good situation, you're limiting the fervor of the market, the investors in the market, because your people are excited about it, and excitement does impact the market. And let me go on record and say it right now. The excitement should influence a market. Things like that, investor excitement should push stocks. It is part of a healthy market. And if you remove that, you've removed the teeth from the market. All right?
Every IPO.
There's exactly. Try and get IPO. That's one of the things that has passed in the time that we've been away. Tropical listed. Tropical shareholders currently looking at
around 18%.
18% as of today. So we're recording this on the 21st of October. So the people are up 18%. How long in a listed amount yet?
No.
Yeah, so 18% up in less than a month. And that's cool. They're listed on the 30th of September, the last day of September. Which is good, because it then means that the people who would have done my IPO growth for Tropical, I would have said that if it listed after the 30th of September, then I believe they would have been they wouldn't necessarily have to tell us either their whatever that quarter is, because that's the end of a quarter for them. I'm surprised that they chose that date. Because if they didn't choose that date, they could have waited months and months before them tell us what's happening in the company. Yeah.
It says something interesting to me.
It does say something else interesting to me, but I'm sure people are always wondering.
And he's not old. He's not new to IPOs.
Yeah, exactly. And they would have been aware and planning this for a long time.
Quite a while.
So I am sure that there's a reason that they have chosen to do that, and the implication is that I won't go into the too much speculation here. I will say that what it is that it definitely, unless I'm mistaken, guarantees that they will be showing their, which quarter is this for them?
Before the regular financial year, do they? I can't remember.
It might have been the full financial year,
Oh.
It may have been. It may have been the full year figure, which would have given them a lot of room then. Yeah, man. Because they wouldn't have to say anything until the end of the first quarter. Yeah, what I think. So the fact that they chose not to do that is interesting to me because that very much was a choice. I'm pretty sure they wanted to, they could have just delayed it by one day.
Yep, very easily.
Very, very easily. This is, I think that their quarter ends, I'm checking the prospectus right now.
As am I. It's funny, I went through this already very recently, so I don't know why I'm doing this.
Me too. But you know it go. You know that goes. Every day
Yeah, man, so yeah.
you check it.
It's year
Yeah.
September 30. Yeah, man.
So,
Very, very often we check the same thing.
yeah, man. All 3 times for the day.
That's how you go?
More than 3 times for the day.
Well, I know. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Jesus. How much time I look at Seprod results today?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll get there. Let me not go too far on a tangent. So John Jackson has been hitting the JSE, and I mean, you can't. Anybody who understands the market has to have a very good argument to disagree with him.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot see the argument to disagree with him. It is a silly thing. I'm not saying that there isn't some room for a certain kind of circuit breaker function, and there is no one-off rule. You can make the rules you want. They could have done a down circuit breaker only, but not an up.
Mm-hmm. Very easy.
So you can say,
so,
yeah, you can.
Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm agreeing. I'm just agreeing. I'm not seeing the issue there. Like when I think the Nasdaq has no upward circuit breaker, so the market can fly, but there's a down breaker. So like the real issue very often for people trading is, boy, maybe I lose some money. Nobody's really complaining about. Maybe I gain too much money.
Exactly, right? And you don't want to pull the teeth out of the market. You don't want people to lose the excitement.
Exactly. So if you in air quotes protection from a downward breaker, but the upward breaker, boy, it also affects me now. Kind of stopping how much I can move right now.
Exactly. Nasdaq does have a circuit breaker. So Nasdaq has 3 levels. 7% decline before 3:25 p.m. because I think trading for them ends at 4.
Yeah.
So before 3:25 p.m., if there's a 7% drop, it halts for 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
and bear in mind that Nasdaq's trading day is much huger than JSE's 3.5 hours, right? If there's a 13% decline again before 3:25 p.m., they halt 15 minutes again. So for both of those things, if it happens at 3:25 or after, they continue trading no matter what.
Makes sense.
Because the day is soon done anyway. If there's a level 3, which is a 20% decline, if that happens at any point in time, they halt it for the rest of the day. You see, that makes sense. That's somebody at the top saying, all right, I am here to protect you. For whatever reason, people are selling this thing more than 30% on the Nasdaq is a blurty drop.
Yep. Yeah.
30% is wipeout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you drop 30%, if it's 901, it drop 30%, it done for the rest of the day. But if it's 15%, or if it's 13% or 7%, 15 minutes, cool off. Yeah. Because what could have happened? But in Jamaica, what we need more time for what? There was a time.
Yeah.
Most of the money people get them information from Gleaner. Gleaner come out in the morning and I'll come out again at 1 o'clock.
Exactly. It's not coming out at 12:01. I don't understand the middle day thing where the release of info, where we get our information in the JSE and the news mainly. What news coming out in the middle of the day saying, boy, much of the market now. And I think you have a misconception about how the breaker works to protect them. Because people say, boy, I lose less money if there's a breaker there. And I said, no, say the profits of a company, like you see like a report come out and you realize that, boy, for the rest of this year, this company is worth 100% less. The breaker not going to stop it from dropping 100%. You get spread out the time, you drop 100%.
Or 90% less, 100%. Well,
yeah, 90, yeah. Well, it's not going to stop it. It's not going to say, boy, okay, this company is worth 90% less. The breaker trick off of 15% and then 15% today. Then going another again until you reach that value. It's not going to stop it. So people are misconception how it works to protect them. It's really just, boy, cool off and see if you really, really want to do that.
So I wonder, like, there is no true. Maybe I need to do more depth on this, but I've done enough research to feel comfortable saying that there is no real. In fact, as I said, there's no real benefit, but I'd go even one step further and say that it is actually working against JSE.
Agreed.
Because JSE is the thing that them love to talk about. biggest stock market in the world,
They
2015
advertise
best.
on their results. So
Exactly.
you're stifling the growth. If you're taking as a technology,
Exactly.
you're stifling the growth. But it says to me, you really actually care about your performance. So by working against it, that then don't add up 1 and 2 to me at all.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure that they actually the people doing it actually understand how they are actually impacting themselves, right? And especially now, I think Corona is a great example because Corona allowed a lot of people to think that the market was dead.
Yeah.
Obviously, the thing that really caused the market in 2015 and 2018 or 2019 as the best performing stock exchange was the fact that we had a lot of hot IPOs and exciting IPOs and a lot more new people, like I'm sure a lot of people listening to this, coming to the market.
Yep.
In 2020, you had a lot of people who would have just come to the market and gotten a little burnt because them don't know them pretty much buying lotto. JSE circuit breaker actually, in my personal opinion, impacted what could have been a nice rise for them through Tropical. Granted, I'm not knocking 18%, that's nice. But I think Tropical was impacted in some way by the fact that there is that 30% cap on the day. So if me excited about Tropical and I feel say, yo, I'm buying this thing for 10 years. So selling me it at $1 on listing day one, or even $1.20 or $1.30, I'm fine buying it there. I'm fine buying it at $1.50 because I am trying to hold it until it is worth $5 3 years from now, right? But I can't do that on day one because somebody has decided that I need an hour to cool off to consider this company that I've been considering through the prospectus for the last 2 weeks and waiting on. That don't make no sense. You know, it really don't make no sense. They're stifling themselves. And that is why I'm surprised that they haven't, well, I'm not surprised, but I gather that for 2020, they are also another Bloomberg record. They're the worst performing exchange in the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I love the JSE. I'm not knocking them. I'm a sometime shareholder. But I believe that we have had the biggest fallout of all the exchanges tracked.
Okay. All right, cool. I know it was
and
somewhere around the bottom. I didn't know that it was the worst.
yeah, at one point, I am sure it was the worst, but I don't know if, like, at the point where they officially measure, they're actually there, but who knows? Yeah, so it go. I mean, yeah, it's them. I think I would hope realize now that they need to do something about that. They now need to actually take a strong hand at the market and look at the things that they've done. And the answer can't just be that we've always done it, you know?
And
it has to be that.
I think that's,
yeah.
So for some reason, I think that's the answer again, because the talking points I'm hearing from the JSE is, oh, we still have IPOs lined up. Yes, that's good, but it takes a lot more active. It takes a lot more active, a much more active approach from the JSE side, because they can only be open and advertise that we offer a listing service and whatever. If companies don't come in your timeline, then what do you do? It can't be your own strategy.
Exactly. So that's the official market news. That's what I guess we think. They need to have a look at it, right? I'll leave it to the experts, but I think they need to have a look at it. And let me take back that worst in the world thing. Not because I think it's wrong, but I don't want to have to stand behind it. What I do know is that, and I can reference this, up to July there was an article in Gleaner, and I'll share that in the show notes. So if you guys listening right now, you can check the show notes for this. It is the article from Gleaner in July, where at the time JSE was was among the 10 worst. I don't think it was 10 either. I think it says it's somewhere in there, 6 or something. But the point is, it's a hell of a fall. Now, granted, it's COVID. We understand COVID hitting the market in a way that allow it to seem like there's a lot. But if you really know the market, you know what that means is that NCB drop.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
That's really what
exactly. NCB, which was at one point 30% of the market, is fell down. I think right now it's maybe 20-something% of the overall market. Yeah, so that's a big
30-something.
Exactly. But on the flip side, I think it's about to fly. I think it's about to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah. Best.
A lot of people.
It's funny.
But
I think you said this on our earlier episode. You gave this timeline.
that they're going to surprise with their next results and maybe the first quarter.
Should be an interesting time.
Yeah. The funny thing is, though, as well, you know my thing already, right? I mean, I think what can happen is that there's a whole heap of justification for a rise in NCB share price. And for anybody with sense, I'm buying right now. I mean, like in my case, if I'm choosing to buy this, I'd buy it right. What it closed at today? Today, October 21st, it closed at $136.87 per share, heavily undervalued. And the man and they keep hinting to everybody. Oh, we have a new person here. Oh, we just sold our insurance portfolio to ourselves. Our subsidiary, our 62% owned subsidiary. And that in itself has some implications. Oh, we're going to reword this. Oh, we're doing it in such a way that I think they're obviously going to be worth more. I mean, somebody who is not trying to make money 1 week from the next should be able to lock them iron by, in my view, lock them iron by NCB at 136.87. After speaking to your licensed investment advisor, which neither of us are. You guys haven't heard that in a while. Hasn't changed, but yeah.
At $200, you were buying it. And what's the material change since then?
Exactly.
It's all exactly, to be honest.
Exactly. At almost $250 last year, middle of June, July, I think last year, people were buying it. I know at one point it was 240 something.
Yep.
Yeah. And then at that time I thought it was undervalued.
Yep.
And it is valued a lot more now. So for those of you either the big money or the patient pockets are looking for a nice surprise, you might want to talk to your investment advisor about that one. And more good news. What else is there? You want to touch a Seprod now, or you want to touch something nice? Something nicer.
I was going
different.
Speak about Barita, you're on this dark horse.
Oh God. I go through. Through
the APO. 53 something.
It was 50. I think if you're buying on the public market, I have it in front of you. I can say 53.88. But I could be wrong about it. But it's about that range.
Cool. So it was a good deal all around. As you can see right now, people have it at $90. So if you bought in the APO, you made a good money off of that. So, and it's funny because a lot of companies right now talking about APO. So you hear the IPO quietly, but you hear a lot of load what we're doing APOs. I think around 6 people exactly confirmed that they're doing APOs.
No, I think so. It's 6. Let me quote them out. We have JMB already did there. So we have Pulse who doing an APO. We have Proven who said they're doing another one.
Derrimon trading.
Yeah. Derrimon, yeah. Who else? It's funny how I'm blanking on them, but I know it's a whole heap. Panjam,
yes. Panjam had said that.
Panjam has said an APO. Has JP said anything about an APO yet?
No, I think Sterling said. Was it Sterling?
Sterling Investments. That's who it is. Not JP. Sterling APO. That's 5. Who else? I shouldn't even text my brain like this. Let me actually look at the market and see what jumps to mind.
I'm doing it actually. Yeah.
I am seeing. Did CFF say anything, or is just Derrimon?
CFF did. Derrimon doing the APO. CFF did their split where they.
Yeah. So CFF did that, which was very exciting too, right?
It did. Good amount of money
down
people. And good.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. It's also another what the hell is JC doing moment. I don't want to cuss them too much in this. I really don't want to cuss them too much. In fact, I'd actually love to have somebody from JC on this and we talk to them because I don't understand what's happening. It's like the rule. It's like we.
I don't understand. I've always said.
I think we need more people with money
talking,
doing lawsuits.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Because I think sometimes we just kind of forget things because they're supposed to split on a date, and in essence, the price. I don't want to say them split before, but I'll say is that you could buy it on the market at the split price before the split date.
Exactly. So my issue. All right. So generally, how JC used to work. It's funny that the issue is two pronged. One, you never communicate the change. So if I'm going off what you have as how your splits work in the past, it can't be on the day that this happens and I'm looking at the market saying, oh, them people they're wrong, them can't be really trading at that price. And then my broker calls me to tell me, oh, yo, we got a message from the JC and they said this is how the splits will work. That's not on the JC side. My broker, who knows that I'm very much into the stocks thing, he call me and say, oh, so you go. But people never get information.
I never got that information. Is that something that I can hear? Tell us. Can you inform and even me too? Let me hear how this go.
So, all right. So I'm explaining how it works. So generally before the split happens on the split day. So you know them say, oh, the split will be the split is effective on end of day or close of trading on this specific day, right? So now how they're doing it is that the price will be changed on the X date, and then the split you receive your shares, the split shares on the thing there on the split effective day, on the record date.
Sorry, what?
So the X date.
Say that again for me and everybody else who lost.
So X date is that 2 days before the effective, before the actual record date, the day you have to be a shareholder by.
Yes.
So when if you're a shareholder by on that day, if you're on record on that day, then you receive the shares. But the price of the before any new shares are issued, the price of the stock will be changed to the effective split price on the X date.
What?
Yeah. So that's what happened with CFF. So it was at 20. It was trading at $2 and $3 before you actually have those shares.
So my loss. Hold on. So if it's effectively, if the split date is Friday, we're a T+2 market, so you have to own it by Wednesday. But on Wednesday, if let's say I have a $10 stock and it's going to do a 10-to-1 split on Friday. On Wednesday, it's going to trade at $1.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works. A split is a legal thing. It's not even a JC thing. It's a legal thing.
Exactly. So
you can't give me. So they're doing futures. So you're giving me the Friday price.
You give me the Friday
on Wednesday.
Price on Wednesday. That no make no sense. I mean, you do that now. To me, if no new shares are issued as yet, right? Then the market cap will be affected before new shares are. So you effectively cut CFF's market cap in 10 on that day.
Yeah.
Suppose my broker called me about my margin on that day because illegally I have this amount of shares at this price, and my margin said I can only drop by this amount.
Yo, let me do you one better. Let me show you the lawsuit thing work. Let's say that I owe you, Danai, $10 million. And I'm going to pay that $10 million with 1 million shares that I have today worth $10. Now, those 1 million shares at $10 is going to split on Friday, right? And I'm going to pay you on Thursday. You're telling me that on Wednesday, JC is going to decide on their own that it's worth $1, even though legally it's worth $1 on Friday? So if I want to pay you on Thursday, I can't because I literally don't have enough shares to pay you. So I have to wait until Friday,
get them
the new shares and pay you. But suppose my legal arrangement is that pay it on Thursday or you have a penalty, which many agreements go like that. Then people...
That's crazy to me. It's funny because...
That is crazy.
I think they were working off how NASDAQ does it. So apparently NASDAQ, they, on the X date, because basically how it works is that, you're eligible for shares on this day. So if you're... The last day of eligibility is the day before the X date. So they basically, they split, they get rid of that issue by giving you the shares and the split price on the X date.
Say that again. Nasdaq does what?
Basically, the day you're eligible for share, the last day of eligibility, if you're now eligible for shares, the very next day they split it basically and give you the shares. So you get the price and the price decrease and the split and the new shares are all happening at the same time. To me, it don't make sense to split those two. So either do it on the record date or do it on the X date. You can't split them up and then tell me later, say, oh well, you have some less shares and now you can get the shares later. That don't make no sense.
What the hell?
Apparently, what they're trying to get around is so say CFF was trading at $20, right? You know, on the X date, if you buy at $20, you're not getting any shares on record date. So apparently they were trying to combat that. They don't want you to be buying shares at the high price and not getting any shares later. And
that's not your business.
Exactly.
That would mean that would be somebody who hasn't paid attention.
So why?
It's not your job to be my mummy.
Exactly. It's funny because you gave me all the information and I just decided to not look at it.
Oh my God.
So yeah, they're trying to protect some interest there, somebody's interest there by moving forward the price change. But I say, to me, if you move for the price change, which is you have to move forward the thing that changed, right? The share change.
It's not up to JC when my share splitting is up to me.
Exactly. The company split on whatever day. So guess what?
Oh my God.
So yeah.
I think the issue is also in getting people to understand this is that a lot of people, because I'm sure a lot of people listen to this and they might be lost. And the thing is, a lot of people don't realize how you might miss money because of something like this. Mm-hmm. Because it's money that you lose or you don't realize you've lost it. Yeah. Because if somebody wants to buy my Friday splitting shares to $1, if they want to buy it for $10 on Thursday, and then when Friday comes and say, how come I don't get the split? And the broker say, well, you bought it on Thursday, but you'd have had to buy it by Wednesday in order to benefit it. I mean, you might be angry, but that's none of my business. Exactly. That's your fault. Now, granted, it's the broker's fault.
The broker should communicate that if...
Exactly. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe that's where it's coming from. Maybe too many people complain to the broker, and the broker is like, well, JC, do something to protect us.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing is dangerous because what happens then is that you get the wrong thing done.
I know what prepare for it.
Exactly. But I take on the fight that I can take on. So,
yeah. So that was me on the day when I first heard of it. I was upset, and I realized, hey, yo, just work with what I can work with now. I'm not going to call JC and this change. So I need to just trade how I can see this. How this what's the best move going with this in mind, and then it worked out for me.
Do they realize the flip side of what they've done? Because what it does is it actually causes other people to lose money. Still, you can't stop it.
Mm-hmm. Funny, it's the big money people. I think people that would really know what's happening and would actually be affected. So they might get the wrong calls just from doing that.
Exactly. If they don't, you know what? All I'll say is shout out to the people who bought CFF. Or sold CFF at $2.
Yeah.
the day before the official split, because JC was protecting your buyers. Mm-hmm. JC didn't protect them. That's all I'll say. Work out the math behind it. That's all I'll say. So shout out to those people who made some money. Who else made money? You know what? The tangent hit us. We were trying to name out the APOs. We got to 5. But I think what hit us is that every time we're talking about this privately, we say APOs and rights issue at the same time.
Yes.
And we do have a couple more rights issues. So we do have, if we count all those APOs,
you're right, you know. I know what, yes. Because I have it written down here right in front of me to talk about it. And because I was considering it together, that's why I never came. Okay. So yes, Key.
All right.
Key will be a rights issue.
And so Key has a rights issue coming, boom.
Sygnus as well.
Sygnus has a rights issue. Yeah.
Sygnus APO is much like a rights issue, and that's interesting.
Yes, we did talk about that one last year.
Yeah. It's like we know.
We're so lucky.
And that, you know.
Yeah, so Sygnus has a rights issue, a APO coming that looks to be very much like a rights issue, meaning that they're putting the sort of rights issue, benefiting there for current shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which
You can get through with what you own, with the amount of shares in relation to the amount of shares you own, and anything left back, the public can pick up.
Exactly. So as a current shareholder, at whatever point that they're going to announce it officially, meaning give the details and officially come to market with it. If you're a shareholder, at whatever point they indicate in that document that will come out, then you will have rights to a certain amount of shares. And then the extra you can buy or the public can buy, but you have a certain amount of rights, a certain amount of thing, which is why, for those of us who have been paying attention, which is why Sygnus would have flown.
Yep. So nice rise.
Right back up to what it closed today at 18.
Well, it was
28.
Somebody put a big order in the queue, and you know that go. Everybody afraid. Everybody catch them afraid.
Yeah.
Orders and watching it run with me, and then somehow this big order come and I don't want to chip at it. So
it's a very interesting thing, those big orders. Now, we used to hint at it back in the day, but I think enough people are in the market now where I hope the people are paying attention would say that there are people who understand the strength of a big order. Yeah, man, a big order to either buy or sell, sometimes it don't actually go through, meaning it don't actually trade, but it does enough to stop people from doing a certain, man. It's not going to go past this point, because for somebody to buy it past $20, they have to spend 200 million. I have to spend.
And say, boy, I know spend now 200 million. So I not going to do it. Something else going to do it, so nobody going to trade.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not even 200, sometimes it's like $1 million, $2 million.
It's funny because very often that big order drop in, and that same person watch the market fall below them big order and just start buy all your little order. You catch trade and start sell out. You see me buy it, you're selling to that guy.
Exactly.
He has more at the end of the day and run with it now gone up to whenever, because you were afraid to buy his shares.
Exactly. And that's why, for the people listening, you'll understand in the past I would call it a wall, because it very effectively walls off, or seems to wall off the possible buyers or sellers at times, depending on which side of the queue it's on. From either going above or below the price. And you can put in a wall on the buy side, and then drop in your buys below on the sell side, or the other way around. You know, I dropped my big $2 million order on the sell side, and on the buy side, I buying it at 20% lower because everybody catch them afraid.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a hell of a market strategy. It's one of the good things that I hope JC doesn't think it's a bad thing all of a sudden, and put some rule in to stop that. It's a part of what happens in the market. It's part of what should happen in the market.
People, they try to make the market an other thing, and it's just a market, and everything that comes with that. It's just like your old thing there. It's the incarnation market buying peer or whatever. The same functions, just at a different level and a different mentality. With you're selling a company versus you're selling fruits.
Exactly.
So everything that comes in that in that little niche, a lot of the same mindset. As you always say, if you sell if you sell candy in school, you can't go into business.
Yes. Yeah. From me, if you do that, you have enough sense to go in business or to trade stocks. And I think what happens a lot of times is that the voices that might hit them to complain, the feeling behind it is, no, but this is unfair. And I can understand that. It's just like your same example is in the market. No, how come him come into the market and buy all of the peer them?
Yes.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault. I've $700,000 and I bought up all of the peer them. Yeah, you can't tell me if I did my 700,000. But then later on, I sell the peer them for 20% more.
But I peer them.
Yeah. If you don't like it, don't buy it. It's not illegal. I'm allowed to that, and I should do that. Yeah, the thing that's illegal is selling to yourself directly and pretending that you're not. So you're selling from account A to account B. Yeah, where you're the only person on both account A and B.
You get a call with that one. That's actually in legislation. You should not be doing that. So
yeah, that's properly illegal, as it should be.
Exactly.
Yeah. If I have the quote right, I think it is creating the impression of a false market.
You're buying and selling without actual change in beneficial ownership.
Yeah, that is illegal, and that's what should be illegal. But I guess what's important is a circuit breaker. Anyway, I never even want to hit JC again now, and I tried to skip over with the Sygnus because I'm sure there are people, somebody listening to this and going, talk about how I can't see the Sygnus price some days.
Yes, it's weird.
Oh my God. For a long time, I didn't even know that as in profit.
The thing they draw from the side was giving you the wrong inputs. So what you must do.
All sometimes, me no know. There are days when I don't know what Sygnus price is.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it was in the $19 range, I think a week or two ago, I didn't know. Because like 2 or 3 of the days out, it was just pulling from the old price.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
I don't know, but JC had them thing little by little. But what I'm happy about is that the market activity still is good for those of us who can see it.
It's very
still good.
It's not dead. Sorry guys.
At all.
Market not dead.
I thought about that today. I said, you know what, let me leave it alone. But yeah, you're right. The market not dead. Not only is it not dead, it's still exciting. It's just the proof has come now. I should shout out Ryan, who said on this show last year, and it was a last year thing in the early days of earnings season, that where the market is now, and at this now at the time was like mid 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a luck thing. So a lot of people think it's luck. It's not a luck thing. And it was at a time where like we had 80 listings. And I remember a specific day where like 40 rose and 40 fell.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at that and think, say, yo, I don't know it's good. But the truth is, you have to know which 40 is not a guess thing. You have to pay attention to the company. You have to know what going on. You have to, it's not accidental.
I didn't hear Randy talk about how he make money. This
yeah.
And the next week you still have money, and you will say, but you bet under 40. And
pretend, man. Pretend. The market is down. The truth is, no, people. The market good and still good. It's just that the market has never been accidental or a luck thing. You can get lucky, but not consistently.
Yeah.
And to get consistent gains, you have to know what you're doing. I mean, there was no podcast for a good little while, but I never even too feel bad, because the truth is, just go listen back the whole episode them, because everything that was said like 10, 15 episodes ago is happening right now.
But key,
that
was one of the next hot topics on my list. Key,
literally
insurance.
Yeah, man.
Boy, we're talking about long,
before, long time.
Before it came, we spoke about it as a good buy for somebody who's looking to do certain things with it. And the one
within a year.
Exactly. And then somebody come and do something good with it. And then the thing we spoke about should be that would be sensible for it to do. It's happening now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm going off memory here, so I don't know if it's something that's public. I'm sure somebody will either at me on Twitter or send me an email or something telling me. But my memory is saying that this might be great for a shareholder or a prospective shareholder who is looking to gain from it strongly 1 year from now. And I remember saying that late 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Late 2020 now, Q4. Key is why closed at today? Key today, the 21st, closed at $9.60.
Yep.
And it never traded today.
And
people
back then it was between 2-3.
Exactly. Now, depending on when we drop this, and I hope to drop this tonight, the Wednesday. Well, I can say it's good. The people who pay keen attention would know that Key has a. They got to the Supreme Court. They went to the Supreme Court today. Yes. You hear anything from nobody?
Let me check my email, because they emailed me this morning, or was it yesterday morning? They emailed me yesterday to tell me that just make sure you register for the thing there, for the AGM tomorrow. So they go into the Supreme Court to get approval to have an electronic AGM. If they get through, so there was an article in the newspaper saying they're cutting it close, and the idea was that if they get through with the ruling, then they will keep the the electronic AGM. If not, then they have to push it back so they can actually schedule limited person.
I think them said that last part, I never said it. I don't think they said they're going to push it back. Send me the article, because my memory of that article says something else.
Cutting it close.
I know that they said they're cutting it close for real.
Key.
But the last part is what I remember as important. I think them said that, even if we don't hear it, technically they can keep the AGM anyway, that the rules of the Disaster Risk Management Act have been changed to allow AGMs.
I see.
Yeah, man. But I'm working from memory, so
at this point, we cannot say we cannot say definitively whether the board's decision will be to postpone the AGM or proceed with a physical meeting on schedule. Webby said that. Okay, so whatever decision of the board in the event, Key will take immediate steps to notify the public, update shareholders on the way forward.
The important thing I wanted, which I'm hoping is accurate, is a quote from Webby. The last quote where he says, "At this point, we cannot say definitively whether the board's decision will be to postpone the AGM or proceed with a physical meeting on schedule," because they are allowed to do a physical meeting.
Yeah.
And I think with all that's going on now, I think they would want to do a physical meeting. And I'll tell you why. Why I think they'd still want to do a physical meeting is linked, in my mind, to why Seprod decided to drop their results today. What was it? 21. We've been hinted at the Seprod for a while, so we can talk about it. What is it? 21 days after the quarter ended?
Yeah.
So the quarter ended September 30th. And you usually, companies are required to report
45.
within 45 days after the end of a regular quarter, not a Q4. Yet these people, Seprod, it's not a small company or junior marks, a big Seprod, chose to drop their 9 months report, third quarter report, 21 days, almost more than half, 50% early in terms of days. They never have to report until November 13th, which you guys would know if you've checked the Evermickle stock calendar. But they chose to report literally almost a month early. In my view, it is because the people behind Seprod, in addition to being great business people, I suspect that the middle of November is going to be a very exciting time for the market. I suspect there's going to be a lot of things in the market to distract John Public. So if you have good numbers and you might be interested in having your share price appreciate, because I personally think Seprod, which closed today, opened today at 50 something. I made the tweet, but I don't remember the price. What was it? 58? What opened at today? I think 58.20, and closed today at 64.25. Nice strong growth today. I really like that. That you might not want to have that be distracted by all the other things that could come out during, and there are true earnings season companies, so they would have been reporting with everybody else. Middle of November. So if you want the people to pay attention to your team, maybe you come earlier. So there's no distractions today. It is such a strong company. Them put them numbers out. There is no NCB surprise profit. There is no, not that I think NCB is going to report then. I don't know off the top of my head there. There's no AGM noise from not AGM. No rights issue noise from anybody else. There's no APO noise from anybody else. There's no stock split. There's no takeover. There's no IPO. It's just today, Wednesday, separated a strong thing upon the market right now. And it is obviously strong. It is like, the man them whopping them last year.
Yep. The thing there, they're about their half year profit with just the one quarter.
They're not at the half. What do you mean? No, man.
So
then beat them full year.
No, half of this year, so 6 month profit was around 1.2 million, right? And they've dropped a 1.2 bill profit for just this quarter.
I get you. I get you. I get you. Like the growth now ramp. Were there one-offs in that?
A big one-off with the thing there, with the sale of the property.
the property sale.
Property sale.
A genius move.
Mm-hmm.
Top genius move. Man, them sell the property for shares worth more than them. Yo, I respect the man them so much.
Yo. As you said, they're only certain people, a small amount of people using the market in a certain
the way it should be used.
Exactly.
I have so much respect for how the man them do it. So even though the one-off is there, it's not like operations not growing the same way.
And exactly.
Oh my God. And then the Q4, I mean, if the man them match, I did some rough back of the envelope stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you were saying something just now?
Even without the one-off, them blow the profit out of the water.
Of course. And then there's the sugar that's no longer killing them.
Why?
Oh God.
Crazy.
Nah, man. Big up Richard Pandoy. Big up Paul Scott.
Every time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And thank you guys for managing my company very well. I'm proud of what you've been doing. I really am. And I mean, just sticking to the Seprod thing, looking at the today, I can tell you straight. Open today at 58, whatever, close at 64.25.
Mm-hmm.
And then right before we started recording, Dana and I were talking about it. And I mean, the queue, the cheapest you can get it for currently, imagine that the market was open right now. The queue have 21 orders for sale.
Yep.
And the cheapest one is $68.70. And it's not that many units. It's 3,433 units. And it's at $68.70. That's not going to last.
Only 14 of those, 2/3 of the orders there are below 75.
Yes, but they're small orders.
It's not no big order. So
yeah,
if you're getting it, you have to run.
A money person. Yeah, I mean the first order, that's less than 300 grand Jamaican.
Not gone.
Yeah, man. So and here what people, if you listen to this, I don't want nobody be thrown off an ear and say these big numbers. If it's good for somebody with 30 million, it's good for somebody with 30 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you don't have to buy the whole of the first order, you can buy a piece. Yeah, there's a whole heap of that going. Even I today bought some like a piece of orders. Piece. Yeah, man.
And it was going too fast.
Yeah.
Funny, that same point you said, if you go for 30 mil, you go for 30 grand. And with just 30 grand, you look at the 30 mil man and say, boy, why am I do so?
Yes. Yes.
So if it's good for 30, good for 30, as they say.
Exactly. The percentage is what's important. And the truth is, the lower the amount of money you have on JC, the better it is for you.
Yeah, exactly. You can
yeah.
Your percentage is very easily better than the thing. Because you have a room. You can choose, choose and choose anything.
Exactly. And you can move 30 grand into something, turn it into 60 grand and get it out same day.
Yep.
A man with 30 million cannot do that. Yeah, a man with 3 million can do that. A man with 1 million can do that. There's very few stocks you can do that with. So and one of the beauties of that is that Seprod is one of those stocks you can do that with. You can comfortably move 1 million in and out of Seprod in a day.
Yep. Today will be a great day for some millionaires.
Yeah, in fact, let me give the people some accurate information. There's this file that I had put together for my short-term class that I said I was going to share it with the people who did Shan's short-term class. People, let me. I don't have an official ad, but let me do a twofold ad. Fold one, if you are lost with this, you really want to learn about this stocks thing, this investment thing, but you're afraid or you don't know nothing. In fact, I'm dropping this week, so I'm going to put a code in this. You can go to everymickle.com/grower. That's everymickle.com/GRWR. And you can, I have my next class. My next class is Thursday, but I think I'm going to be canceling those because I am beat and I don't want nobody in a tired class. I like when people pay attention properly, blah, blah, blah. And I haven't been able to pay attention to that. So my next class after that is Saturday. So if you're listening to this and it is not yet Saturday, October 24, go to everymickle.com/GRWR and you can pay for my class. It's going to be held at 2 p.m. JA time. It's all streaming, so you don't have to go anywhere. You just need an internet connection at some time. And I carry people from I know absolutely nothing about the stock market to, I am comfortable enough to know what questions to talk to my advisor about and know what stocks I want to pay attention to and how to make their money. You're not going to turn Warren Buffett in one day, but you are probably going to make more than the 0.64% that your savings account would give you. And you deserve better than that. That's add one. Add two, Shan has done her, what is now, her third or fourth short-term investing class. If you're interested in the going hard, no, you need a little bit more knowledge to the short-term investing class, right? I don't want you in the class and loss. But if you're interested in going harder, especially in the short term, because that's where I know Shan put a lot of her energy and her time, you want to check that out. Check out her, what's her Twitter name? I know Top Striker Shan.
Is it?
I think it's Top Striker Shan.
It used to be at Shan Shad.
No, man, I know she changed it. I think it's at Top Striker Shan. If you don't know, check the show notes right now and it will be in there. Point is, she does her classes also. She did one this month. Nice class where she did it on short-term investing, and I'm sure she's going to do more. So you can, those are two great options for people right there. Right? So those are the two ads. No, why was I telling you this? Because I know a lot of people listen to this and they want to know how to make the money. And I personally want people to know that one, you can make the money. Two, it's not a luck thing. Three, it's not a hurry come up thing. And it's also not a buck ups thing. All right. I've been saying it all the time. You can go back and listen to this podcast and listen to us calling the things that are acting how they're acting now a year ago. That is not a joke thing. You can listen to it a year and a half ago. And there are things that we call, precisely to the point where it is weird to me how good the number, the talk is. If you're calling it to the quarter, these results are going to come and Seprod is going to act. Then I call Seprod 3 times. 1 time last year and 2 times earlier this year. Don't I think in that episode? The one with 876 Invest where we got to the Seprod point. We did it again. Yeah, and Seprod don't anywhere near stop it. Because that's the next thing I always hear. Boy, I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
What, them stop trade?
The company stop?
Yeah, you haven't missed it. You know how much money I have made from buying stocks after people have said they miss it? Yeah, man. I always go back to Fontana.
Not even Fontana. I was saying Jam Tea. I was going to ask you, how much times now you make money off Jam Tea?
What?
I just
still
this market, you tell me you're making money off Jam Tea, and then
exactly
money don't stop run.
2020, and I'm still about to do it again because they also have what them have coming stock split. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if them all pull an APO too, because it look popular now. So take the money and done. They can use it. Yeah, there's no shortage of money. There's no shortage of options to make money, but it's not a lot of thing. It's not a cash flow thing. But it requires a light knowledge. When you have a little common sense and you can read, you're good. You have the options there. You have Shan's class, you have my class, you have a whole heap of options there. So yeah, that's the infomercial there for you, right? And of course, there's earnings season, which you listen to now, where you hear us talking about a whole heap of things, right? For free. And you really have whole heap of options. I think about it. Imagine if somebody ignored us. I didn't ask their advisor about Seprod last year. Didn't ask earlier this year. Didn't ask about it last month. I didn't ask about it yesterday, but I'm hearing this right now. I personally am comfortable and will still be buying Seprod once it's below $100. And I think it's going to go, in my view, I personally expect it to end the year maybe 120, 150. I'll leave it to the experts to determine that. Talk to the investment advisor about that. But that's my personal view. That's what I'll be doing. And I'm going to be hearing people telling me they miss it. They're going to miss it at 60. They're going to miss that 70. They're going to miss that 75. They're going to miss that 80. They're going to miss that 90. Just like how them used to miss NCV, which I'm probably going to say they miss again right up to another 250. Yeah, although I don't know if NCB is going to hit those 200s unless something happens with the dividend. Yeah.
Yes.
The dividend tank.
I was saying that's thing there. That's really what's holding them back right now. So you can get good news, you can move up, but until the dividends free up, certain people not going to push back the money inside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. But that moment when it free up, man. If BOJ come with something surprising, because I suspect BOJ might do that. BOJ may say, okay, we have a strong handle on, which they have continually said, big up BOJ on Twitter and in real life. But I suspect that they may say that, listen, COVID has had the impact it has had, but we believe that the banks have the reserves, and as long we have our protections, we're keeping an eye on things, and we're allowing financial holding companies to, if they wish, to pay a dividend again. brother, if them announce at Thursday 12:45, tell JC for hustle up that circuit breaker for the 1 o'clock. And of course, we know they don't actually do the circuit breaker between 12:30 and 1 o'clock anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know if that's an official thing.
I don't know where I hear it, but I'm sure I've heard it in the thing there, because I think I made a complaint how it don't halt or something like that, and I have to clarify on that one. But I think it was said that within certain hours they don't halt for more than X amount of time. They give a short halt because the market the day would have done for that stock. Because one time done because the breaker trigger, say can't trade for the rest of the day. But I think they have a short halt on some things. During a certain period. But the exact details I need to call JC and find out about that.
Yeah. I love big up JC. I mean, as much as we give you a rough time, we've also made a lot of money off the market that you provide. So yeah, man. Yeah, man. Link up now. Link up. Come, we have time. We have time. Trust us. COVID time, you don't have to come. We do it remotely if you want. We do it via Zoom, but come talk to the people. The people want to hear you, JC.
Indeed.
In fact, let me do the thing that people should do on podcasts. People who are listening to this, go on Twitter and at JC and ask them when they're going to be an earnings season.
Do that.
Yeah. At JC, Twitter thing, at JA StockX.
It's JA StockX, don't it? I'm saying Jam.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't have the same thing as the website, Jam StockX, but it's weird. But hey, at JA StockX on Twitter and say, at JA StockX, when are you going to go on earnings season? Ask them on Instagram, ask them on Facebook.
Everywhere.
Ask them when they want to come on. Because I think they should really come put a voice in the market. They have done some things, but I think they need a more responsive voice. And I think this is a great platform for them. I welcome them. Having said that, what other surprise there? We mentioned the APOs. We mentioned the IPO Tropical, which came to market. That was nice. That I saw it claimed as the restart of the market. Bringing life back. What else has been exciting or implies exciting in a little while?
I know a certain crowd will love that Trans-Jamaica dividend.
Oh, that was a strong dividend. Yeah, man. Big up Trans-Jamaica for that. They have. Say that again.
It was around 5.something% at the time of announcement.
Yield.
And they were good time to get there. To get into the.
Because the record date is November, end of November or mid-November?
End of November, I believe. Let me just check it.
Yeah, so and it's still below IPO price. So people, Trans-Jamaica has always been touted as a stock that is great, not just for its longevity, but before it's real. It has always been said, in fact, from IPO, it was said that the strength of Trans-Jamaica is going to be in its dividend, and it's going to be ideal for long-term investors and people who are looking for dividend returns. Now, if you're somebody who's looking for dividend returns or for long-term or as a long-term investor, it becomes even sweeter because it IPO'd at $1.44, and it has not touched back that price. To my knowledge, or it certainly hasn't ended the day way above it. Last I checked, and you can now get it. The thing that was going to be giving you great dividends at $1.44, you can now buy it for $1.28.
Yep, the dividends. It's even greater at $1.44. So if you buy it there for the dividends, then guess what?
You don't lose. Yeah, man. So their dividend notice is that they're going to pay a dividend of 7 cents Jamaican, or to be more precise, 0.0748 Jamaican dollars, or 7 cents. I don't know how do you say this in cents? 0.0748, because it's not 7.48 of a cent. It's not
cents. Yeah.
Is it?
Wait, what? Let me check the actual. It's $0.0748.
Dollars, correct. So it's a 7 cent.
7.48 cents.
No, okay, 7.48 cents. Okay. Important thing here is that that yield, if you bought at IPO $1.44, That yield if you bought at $1.44 is 5% before taxes and
think of how far
anything
it has
else,
to actually move for it to be less than 5%. That's crazy, you know.
right? But here's the beauty of it. That's at 144. If you buy it at 128,
Exactly.
oh my God, it's almost 6% before the fees. The yield, that's a strong yield. And if people think that's low, you're right. It depends on what you're comparing it to. But 5% for a dividend there are huge companies that pay out 2% for the year as a dividend. Yeah, man, a good dividend is 3%. This is over 5% one time. Unheard of.
Wow.
In fact, even after at $1.28, even after the 15% taxes come out of it, you're still looking at 4.96% yield, almost 5% yield. Savings account gives you 0.64% yield for the year on average. You guys want to get out of that territory real fast and talk to your licensed investment advisor about something like this. There's loads of reasons to buy it, but there's loads of reasons to be able to buy it cheaper than anybody who thought that they missed the Trans-Jamaica shuttle. You can buy this for cheaper than the IPO price because $1.28 is below that price. So do with that what you will. Talk to the investment advisor about that, and yeah, man, understand that it is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. I said 144, but I believe it's actually $1.41, as incorrect there. That it IPO that Trans-Jamaica, yeah. Yeah, but right, 128 when it was 141. That's an almost 10% discount on the price. Damn, that's a good deal for those of us who are into that, right? Yeah, even better to know the right time to go in. So you got Trans-Jamaica dividend. What do I have in mind? Exciting for the people who are in First Rock, since we're going those big and long-term stuff. Remember, First Rock at IPO did kind of hint at a rights issue, was it that they said? It was hinted in their projections.
Yeah, man. I think they had plans for rights issue for 3 rights issues or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think like one a year for the next 3 years or something like that. Yeah. So who knows? I don't know if they've indicated that they're still going to.
I haven't seen anything that they saying one is coming up. But as I said, the market
plans are plans.
Money still on the table. Plans are still there, so why not?
Yeah. Boy, I really expect November to be a very interesting month.
Yeah.
Very, very, very interesting month.
The thing they say they reorganize the board for their holding. Dollar Financial. I think they put
say that again.
They reorganize the board for Dollar Financial. They put more of their people on the board. So changes.
Because they bought it. Yeah.
Bought it, so they put more of their people. So
that is major. I don't know if it's major, but it's a good move to see, and it's good to see the diversification of income from them with regards to that. That's something that I really rate, because it means that them have whole heap of options, right? It's not just the real estate.
It's real estate. And
yeah,
you know how real estate people been crying right now. I say in commercial real estate, and you hope your tenant stays and not doing the work from home thing too much. Yeah. The residential real estate people been crying. As you see Airbnb and other rentals up for grabs again. I see some good deals on the market actually for buying houses. I think that we're not 20 million. 20 million this year.
Yeah, so I hear that. I think Kalila, it was big up Kalila and taking stock. I think it was Kalila who said that. I didn't watch the video, but the title of it was that, the real estate market
has held firm.
Still firm, which, I mean, Jamaica, nobody not necessarily going to sell them house for cheap. Maybe if we had like a full year or two of the fallout, and I don't think that's something. I think slowly but surely, tourism is rising back up. Yeah,
I think
not where it was before.
It definitely not where it was before. But yeah, I think businesses in general are dealing with the pandemic, and not necessarily yielding to things rough, shut down. People are finding ways to work, unless you're actually hitting a way that you cannot operate. Then you find ways to operate. So pivoting more than just giving up.
Yeah. Speaking of pivot, that reminds me of Kingston. It's not Kex. Not for the
Not for
Express.
the Express.
Yeah, who has pivoted into, or say they're pivoting into, courier service because the general shuttle service has seen a downturn since
Yeah,
COVID.
it
Yeah, so
better.
that's ingenuity right there. Let's see if they can. Because they have had their income wiped. I think it dropped millions in revenue, just disappeared.
SOS, you know, a bad place as well.
Boy, I haven't even seen any numbers from them in a while. Did they release any numbers, or they're about to?
There should be about to. They have numbers coming this quarter, but they had June numbers. I open it now.
Yeah, they're going to. They had June numbers which were rough on them.
My book Seek, which mainly bought by school children.
Yeah, and
Nobody enough it.
right. The revenue fell by over 200, almost 200 million.
Mm-hmm.
In that range, over 100 million, and their profit fell from 91.6 last year in 6 months to this year in 6 months is 21.8 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 76% drop in profit.
Yeah.
That hot. Pre-tax profit, as a matter of fact, let me be accurate, because in terms of and I said 21.9, that's negative. 21.9, that's a loss actually.
So them lost almost looking at them profit last. They've lost this year, look at them profit last quarter. Last year.
Yeah. Sorry, let me be accurate. I feel so much pressure to be so accurate. The 6 month figure for them is, and I'm looking at their June. I have this right. June 30th, 2020. For the quarter, it was negative 21.9 million, almost 22 million as a loss. And for the year to date, at the same point, it was profit of 21.8 million. So them still have some profit, but them feeling it, boy.
Hot.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they need to. I hope they're lobbying the government wickedly, quietly, saying, "Hey, listen, reopen schools." Yeah, I think we're all facing the reality of that. Like everybody say, "Boy, don't reopen schools," and then what? I think people forget that that's entire industries right there.
Yep, and actually, people feeling, children feeling that. We've seen the complaints about the people and the internet connection. Some just don't have it.
Of
They
course,
don't have a computer.
Of course.
Yeah, I use mommy for mommy working, so just
exactly.
hard.
And that's just the kids.
That's just the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, there's also about the people who, what do I do for a living? I run a stall in front of Dunrobin Primary.
Yeah. John.
Yeah. Them people are eating a long time, you know, brother.
Yep.
I think, the lockdown thing, I don't know if I started
I think just.
Yeah, man.
They can only be so much.
Well, yeah. Well, let's see what is done. I still continue to trust Nigel Clark, who is again still my MP, but still also still the finance minister of the country, and the person who I trust seeing him there. I know that's somebody who, and I know I'm not the only one. He's been doing a good job in my opinion.
Yep. And
let's see what he comes with to sort this out. It's a hell of a problem, and it's his hat to bear. Heavy as a crown.
CSE
I gave you one. Say that again?
CSE went to church last quarter. They're feeling the spirit of revival. Cause whoa, that
who this CSE 2000.
Finally back into strong looking profit.
What I say? Did they sort out the court case?
Not done yet. They have
no man. I think them sorted out. Them have like a arrangement now with the people to.
There's a payment plan going on, but remember they have one piece of it. There's I think still being negotiated that they weren't really fully clear on what exactly is going on with that part right now. There's also interest.
Say that again, because I think people just didn't hear you. I think you kind of zoomed out just now.
Over the mic, sorry. Yeah, so I think they have one little piece of it that they need to sort out. That they have a payment plan working on with the claimant.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to work out how they're going forward with that. I'm not sure that they're done because they said by end of year they're looking at a date. They're working out a date for final payment.
Okay. Sorry, wait. This dropped today, a while ago.
What do you mean?
No, man.
I'm looking at something that says unaudited results for year ended October 31st, 2020.
Whoa.
That's 10 days from now. Are we in the future again?
That must be Twitter because I just opened that same thing.
I think it's just a bad name on the file. It says October. I think that just means it's July.
Yeah, it's July.
It's 9 months ended July, yeah. So the year does end October 31st, right? It's not out yet. And is it the profit?
I'm excited.
The profit is back.
20.
TSC. They're a funny company. I noticed they're doing a lot of changes. I suspect that who knows? I think something interesting might pop up from them within the next 2 quarters.
Yep.
Or at their year end. Yeah, maybe in the annual report you might see something interesting. So yeah, I believe last year it was one of the things that we mentioned that boy it had them going through when them was telling us about road work. But no, we are looking on, which is what you said, which is the thing you always repeat, which is that, a bad quarter is great because next year you're comparing a good quarter to a bad quarter if you're good at business. Yeah, so I think these guys have a chance to do it because they themselves say they have turned around from their second quarter losses and they've generated a year-to-date profit. And I notice a whole heap of board changes happening with them, which often means a lot of different new directions. So I look forward to that, to seeing what it is. Who knows, I could jump in time.
It's moved since then, So the result came out.
And it was
yeah.
So it's up with the trading.
So you can see not much people buying this right now, and not people selling it either. The queue's basically empty. But I don't think it's
one of them things. Yeah, it's one of them spot things that people look at in a while. Jamty, you mentioned them before, and I think we're about to hear from them. Jamty and QW are not another one that could be interesting.
Jamty has announced their split. So they're finally going forward with it. Remember last time they postponed it and they're actually going forward. Now they did the AGM and they voted. So they gave a date. But I think they're delaying on the buyback for QWI. But Jamty they gave a date on the split. I see.
Very interesting company.
Same thing happened. Oh, Jamty. Okay. The big order is in the queue and people are afraid again. Everybody telling me, I'm going to tell me today, he was in Jamty and him see the big order coming. So him sell Jamty and his plan was to go into Seprod and thank God it move now because I make money now. Come out of Jamty and go into Seprod and I make money. So maybe
Jaja.
maybe
yeah, that person is they've got to learn. Yeah, like so you're driving traffic. And like I'm sure to the next lane better.
Exactly. And then it makes some good headway and then him here for him Reggie was on the road say, boy, you know something get you.
Switch going to the left lane and the right lane start move. Switch going to the right lane and the left lane start move. I say, yo, man, nah, switch back in on the left lane and flow. I say, all right, man, go in and jump back to the left lane and the right lane start fly. And you make 5% in a 25% market. Yeah, but sometimes you have to just hold straight and hold on to the pick and lock your eye. If you believe in it, you have to truly believe in it. This thing is not for the faint of heart all the time.
Go back to what I always say about your goal. If you don't start there, then you don't know where you're going, where you're walking.
Exactly.
Anything can distract you.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to bring us to call this a short one because, well, not call it a short one because the truth is I'm trying to keep all of them nice and succinct. We'll have long ones when they're justified, but for now, I'm going to try to keep this short. So we're going to wrap it up. I don't know, you want to go first or I'll go first? What do you think might be a nice surprise for the market over, let's say, between now and the earnings season? So we know we have a month, November 15.
Surprise.
You can just pick one or two. I'll do the same thing. One or two that you think, although we just mentioned a whole heap. Let me see if I can go with one. You can't say Seprod. I won't say Seprod either. Yeah, I mean, it's not really a surprise, but who knows?
That's the issue. I'm looking for a actual surprise.
Well, remember, surprise to the people listening,
So
sir.
that's the problem. Yeah.
We do one and we keep it nice and simple with one.
I want to say jam tea, but I don't want to say jam tea because we just mentioned the split.
Yeah, find something else.
Something else. We never mention.
You think 138 might feel the fallout? I don't know how you going all year, We spoke about it earlier in the year, early COVID days.
Yeah, you have problems that I'm not thinking I'm going to pay them yet, and that might start some issues with the actual big receivable line. I think I see people they gave a big profit last time, but people know about the receivable thing now. They're looking out for it. I see David tweet about it, so I know
Yeah,
a big movement on 138.
People know what. So people are looking at that specific thing right now, and if
the man my book it has profit same way. The man of them legal guarantee, Remember that them got court already about it,
yeah, it's just when they pay the money. But to me,
Good point.
If you actually think there, if you actually look at it a certain way, then to me, them getting their money. If anything, if they take too long, they start booking impairment on receivables. But to be honest, I believe they're getting their money. They got court about 30, as you said.
And you itself, Corona, they boxed them early, right? Remember, early March, they were talking actually about not only a bond, but raising a bond, which I don't know if they did. They may have. I don't know if they did. You can follow that up. People are interested. But also listing, or at least listing something on one of the capital markets, because UE is regional. So
I think that the article was IPO.
Yeah, that's what I know is going to happen. And then Corona come and hit them hard. No, if I was running 138, I wouldn't take no talk. Go borrow the money and pay me, but pay me because we have an agreement.
Yep.
Yeah. And on the flip side, if I was Yui, I would be buying up as many 138 SL shares as I can.
Oh, yeah.
That's the top's head. that is the thinking that's serious business thinking, right? If these guys might have the bit of ball and chain around my neck, then let me try and own as much of this ball and chain as possible. Yeah, because I think they have what might be an ironclad contract. But that's not really the kind of surprise that we were thinking about, right?
Nah, looking for good surprises, right?
Yeah, always.
I think my issue right now is that either I said something already, or
Well, say it again. People don't hear from me in a long time. Remind them.
No, I didn't say it already on the episode.
Oh. Well, there's things like creamy.
Creamy. Okay. Creamy. I think I was supposed to mention it actually as something that happened.
Oh, running. Remember here, what's up? Cause
is it really a surprise if you get a next good quarter of creamy?
To me, no, but I'm sure somebody listened to this just now and got creamy. The ice cream people.
So they've actually been releasing some good results. 2 quarters of full, strong, proper results. After they had some issues before where they're doing some they're refitting the factory and whatever. And then finally, you can see things turning around. And I think the pandemic has actually been good to them because they've actually been trying some they've been pushing more into certain distribution methods. So they say you see more ice cream trucks, the actual outlets, they're saying the sales running off in those. I'm not sure where I actually heard this. I think it was David. Should I even say this? He was.
Is it around the land?
No. The land they don't know if they're going to use it yet. What they want to do with it yet? That one.
Yeah.
No.
There's that article. So I'll just share that for anybody who interested in it in the show notes. They bought another piece of land beside them, and they say, we don't know what we're doing with it yet, but hey,
I think
I've always said that real estate is a rich man's game. That's what you do, right? If you can spend the 50 million on on a piece of land beside it because, hey, who knows, maybe a couple years on the line we'll have some use for it, but I'm going to buy it from now because they're not making more land.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of thing that rich people look at them can profit from it 50 years from now. Personally, I don't know that. I don't truly believe that they don't know what they're going to do with it.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
That does, yeah. Especially with the company money.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Big up the Creamy family. But let me tell you straight, you can't act sensible every day and then today you want me to think so you're fool.
Mm-hmm.
I already know you have sense. Yeah, man. You know what you're doing with it and you don't want to say it yet.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm cool with that. Do your thing. I've been a good shareholder since IPO and I continue to hold a little bit as a lesson to me. So big up you.
People were
Creamy.
saying the people were talking about the thing there. They sell the way they sell. I saw a lot of mixed feelings on the way they're selling ice cream right now. So people were talking about. Some people say also there's nothing in supermarkets. They can't find creamy ice cream in supermarkets. So some people so speculation was going on both sides. Either they're not producing enough, or the stock
demand is huge.
Go heavy. People that like it, they were leaning toward the demand is heavy. But what I heard was that, well, from them, it's that thing there. Because again, bulk sales are where they're getting it from. So from the thing there, because again, it's not the supermarket sales are flat, but bulk sales are where they're getting it from. So to me, that further looks. So when you look at his word, who is buying bulk from Creamy? You can see the outlets, stuff like that. That's where.
Okay, so people who want to dig deeper can dig deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My thing is this: the revenue real, then get money for it. If me sell car, you know, and my auntie come and buy every car off of the lot. She pay me. From she pay me, I'm good enough. I don't. If she want pack them up in her yard and boy, it's not real sales because your auntie. Did she pay me? Was their money transferred?
Yeah.
Cool. If not, is it a receivable? Does she owe me? Cool. That's all I want to care about. As long as it's not a fake sale, as long as it's not fake revenue, I'm good. As long as the law is not being broken, I'm good.
It's quite true. So they're fine.
Yeah. Then I'm good. I don't care who you want to sell it to. As long as it's sold for real, I'm good. People can go into further with that. They can do if they choose to. But I mean, I continue to like Creamy and I'm continue to be a shareholder.
Ever since.
From ever since, yeah. What was one of my surprises? You know, let me say it since we're dropping this tonight. Actually, I haven't spoken about this one a long time. We spoke about this a long time ago. I'll say it no. AMG. Yeah, I think AMG is gonna surprise very, very nicely. With a they actually, as far as I know, they're actually late with their results. Meaning they have their which quarter is this supposed to be? I think it's full year. It's Q4. But you know the rule go. Q4, you either unaudited in 45 and audited in 60, or audited. What's the R? I always forget the R.
Or audited only in 60.
No, man, you can't do that. The audited change if you don't go unaudited.
No, so you audited 45.
Sorry, unaudited in 45 and audited in 90.
Or just audited and 60.
Yes, yeah. And if you're not changing from what you did last year, you don't have to give a notice.
Mm-hmm.
You just do the same thing you did last year.
And they usually give the unaudited. They gave unaudited last year.
So last year they gave the unaudited in the middle of October, and then they did the audited at the November 30th.
Mm-hmm.
This year, October 15th passed and nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I'm concerned, they're late because I have not seen. Maybe there's a notice, but I have not seen a notice, and I've checked. So I checked because I've been following it up, and I didn't see a notice. So if there's one, apologies, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it on JSE's site. Maybe that's my mistake, but I searched as best I could. And so I'm expecting them to come with something now or at the end of November. As far as I'm concerned, today, October 21st, personally, I think they're late. Mm-hmm. But I still have high hopes for them, meaning I think they're going to surprise, not just with their operations. If you pay attention to the operations, it's a very subtle thing that they've done. They've tightened up operations a bit. Even under COVID, they've kept things going. And what they have now that they didn't have a year ago is that they have a crap load more US dollar assets.
Mm-hmm.
And their quarter ended, so their fourth quarter actually ended August. And if you check the US dollar rate at the end of August, that was when we were going through, that's before election. So that was when, oh my God, it's crazy, 150 or something like that, in that region, higher than it usually is, right?
So they're going to,
and it's not like, say that again?
They're going to book again on US.
On US, but and the US dollar assets that they have, a lot of them are actually, it's not just US dollars put on, it's notes with brokerage houses, it's actual instruments held.
Yes.
So they're making, so the instrument itself, I'm sure, has some profit associated with it. And then the fact it's in US dollars itself, but they report in Jamaican dollars, they're going to have to book that
again,
air quotes, not real profit of FX gains, but it's not a small amount, When I say it's a lot, I mean it's a lot. It's like the man then put some serious money into it. And I have it, and I'm expecting them to surprise us I expected the surprise to drop already, or in terms of the unaudited. And if you go back to last year, you'll realize that what they did was they had an unaudited figure, and when the audited came out, apparently the auditors went through it properly and they actually adjusted it. So it's like, just an example here, I say that I have given you like Q3 last year, I say 50 million at that point, and then unaudited Q4 I say 70, and when the auditors come through, it turn out no, it's actually 85. Yeah, so adjusted upward. Now I don't know if that's going to happen again, and I'm not necessarily banking on that happening again. However, operations, I think, are good enough despite COVID. And I think all of those investments that they hold as assets in US dollars is also going to push them higher in terms of the value of it, the increase from whatever profit those investments give, and the US dollar side of things, plus operations. I think they're going to have a nice surprise. And personally, I really wanted them to come out October 15 because I didn't want them to get lost in the November noise either. Yeah, I think a lot of things going to be happening in November where not many people going to be paying attention to like a small AMG. Yeah, but AMG.
I can't see room for them being better off for COVID.
Yes. Yeah, me too. Me too. And they've been just quietly organizing themselves. The more I pay attention, is more impressed them. They're just quietly organizing themselves, right? Up to the 9 months ended May 31st, their revenue was down, but their net profit before tax was up, right? And their full net profit after tax was actually down on the 3 months, but up, not down on the 3 months, up is 16 million on the quarter versus same period last year, 14. And on the 9 months, it was 37.8, meaning up to May 31st, 2020, versus 35.8 last year. And May 31st was the middle of COVID. So March, April, May, then go through a full quarter of COVID, and profit still increased. Yep. And they have what they didn't have before. And if you notice, them actually put it in them MD&A, the management discussion, the asset base is almost 100 million higher. Yeah, the thing that stood out to me though is that so many of those assets are now in US dollars. I actually did a little behind the envelope jotting down of it, and I could be wrong, but I believe they have a strong amount of US dollar thing, and they make sure to say it. If people paying attention, you can go check the notes. I'll put a link to the results right in the show notes, but they make sure to say, I'll read it. Note 7. Point 3, current account 65.9 million, savings account US dollar denominated 45.2 million. Cash securities with Alliance Financial Services denominated in US dollars 26 million. Last year, the same period last year was 9.9. For the savings account, that's 45.2 in US dollars now, that I mentioned before. Last year was 16. And there's something else. A cash security with proven wealth denominated in US dollars, 57.4 million versus last year, it didn't exist. So, cash security with proven wealth, a repo agreement with proven wealth, 29 million, which also didn't exist the same period last year. Cash securities with Alliance Financial Services, 26 million, which was 9.9 the same period last year. 45 million in a savings account, US dollars, versus 16.4 million last year. And the quarter, August 31st, 2020, ended with the US dollar rate higher than it did. It has subsequently fallen down or whatever. I didn't pay attention to it these days. But when you look on the total cash and cash equivalents for in a Q3, May 31st, 232.9 million versus 74.9 the year before. That is going to surprise just on the strength of the denomination and the strength of the I am hoping the results of whatever those securities are. And then I think operations are still good. Maybe not blowing out of the water, but they're still good. Yeah, man. I suspect. Yeah, I suspect they're going to surprise. And I see that. I mean, we're talking to and they're at $1.65, which I'm back at the envelope. That's our. I know they're undervalued, but I don't remember exactly by how much. I mean, the 9 months have them at a PE of 7. And I 7 means 7 cents. And even at $1.65, now this is not the correct PE. Let me say it again. This is not the correct PE. I'm dividing it by the 9 months. This is not the correct PE. But even dividing by the 9 months PE, you have a PE ratio of 23.6 times, right? And again, that's not the correct PE. So the correct PE, I think, likely pushes them below 23. I'm banking on them booking a profit, even though they didn't book a profit in their Q4 last year. I'm banking on them surprising them putting a profit in the Q4 this year when I don't believe they did last year. Or if they did, even if they repeat what they did last year, that's even better. But I know that them have a whole lot more assets now that they never have last year. Plus operations, I think, are more efficient. That to me is a nice little surprise that AMG is going to go. And I'm certainly going to act very surprised in a couple of weeks when they finally report. What a rat if the man them drop a wicked loss. I would also be surprised.
Surprised all around.
Exactly. But I've been buying it up at the low levels. So there really isn't much surprise to me. Even if them book a loss, I have no issue jumping up. But I believe I suspect this thing is not going to stay below $2 very long. Because I'm 165. I can see very easily going to $2.50 and being fairly valued. And I expect that within the next results will do it. The full year results, I think, will show it. I just hope it doesn't come out at a time when it's lost in the noise of anything else.
Either wait longer or just cut it.
Exactly. And so you mentioned two things. You mentioned what was the first one? The jam tea? And what was the second one, your last one?
The second one was... That's one he gave me. Creamy.
Yeah. I like that. You're right in terms of I don't know what else is there to surprise because I feel like we've said so many things. I don't want to overwhelm nobody, but I think that's a lot of surprises, a lot of things for the people listening to maybe go and check out and ask them at the brokers and the advisors about. And a lot of things that I can tell you that I am expecting a lot of money to come from, and that I'm in. I do have shares in AMG. Yeah, I do have shares in Creamy. Yeah, a couple of things. Maybe if I second or if I did two. This I repeat because you guys would have heard it if you listened, you'd have heard it in the market review. I also do like T-Tech, which I think is a quiet company. And I was hoping that they would have surprised us with these results. That was a bit of a sting, but I'm perfectly fine with that because I think they're going to end the year nicely.
Yes.
And the truth is, even if they don't, I mean, I'm not in a rush with them. But I suspect they're going to end the year nicely. And I also think that I personally think that they have a lot more to come.
Definitely. They have announced more with the Data Protection Act. That's right up their alley for one.
And with their clients, they can offer that service easily.
Exactly. And they can offer that service professionally and to larger clients who understand the value of it. And of course, the wink behind that is that clients who make money and can pay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry. There's continuity of income, and they don't just make money in Jamaica; they make money all over. But it's all right. We can maybe do another show specifically on that another time. But yeah, it's my two, and I think, well, you guys can tell me. I'm not even jinxing. You guys tell us what you think. So you hear us right again, back again like that brown lady. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And you have anything you want to tell them?
No, big up, tune in. We're back, guys. No writing.
All right, so look out for it. So thank you, guys. This has been another week of earnings season. I'm Randy Rowe on Twitter. I'm at RT Rowe.
And I'm Benash Asian.
This has been earnings season. Enjoy.
Well, someone saw it and ask if everything alright. I tell the brethren, no, everything not alright, and everything can't alright. Free my people. Free my people. No.